Right, we're actually going into this lecture here, lecture 7, which is the service business. But before we go into the service business, I want to recap on what we learned from the retail trading business. So the first thing that we did was we actually saw that there were actually 6 different types of businesses. Okay, so there is trading business, there is service business, and a trading business. The example of a trading business is a business that buys and sells tangible products. Now, the word tangible means to touch. Then there was the service business, and I'm not going to really do any more discussion on the service business at this point, because I'm going to go to my slides and we're going to look at it there. And then we're going to look at the manufacturing business, which now takes raw materials and makes a product from it. And we actually end up selling that product. Okay. Then where there is the agricultural business. An agricultural business plants crops, tends the crops, harvests what the ground produces, and sells what the ground actually has produced. And either you're going to be selling it just as like if you've grown carrots, you're going to sell carrots. If you've grown spinach, you're going to grow spinach. If you've grown marroch, you're going to sell marroch, and so on. Or else you can take those businesses and you can actually, or you take those products that the ground produces and you can actually process. So, for instance, if you are growing tomatoes, then you might be wanting to process the tomatoes into tomato paste or tomato sauce or something like that. But that's all involved in the agricultural business. Then mining has to do with digging minerals and precious stones out of the ground and either selling them directly or extracting the minerals from the dirt and selling them. And then, of course, the internet business works in cyberspace and offers various products and services, including games and software and this type of thing. Then when we looked at the retail business, we saw that there were 3 different types and ways that you could do it. Selling items that you bought, so you buy it in and you sell it just as they came in. Then break bulk was when you buy things in bulk, you break it down and sell it in smaller portions. It's like cheese or meat, where you cut up the carcass and you sell it per kilogram, or and so it's convenient and cheaper and easier to transport. And then we had combine and sell, and these are selling products that fit together, such as the hamburger, the juice, and the French fries, or the slap chips, or whatever you like to call them. And you sell them as a combo, and that generates more sales and is convenient for your customer and helps move products that move rather slowly. Then we looked at the inputs needed, and you need some skills, but not any special skills. So you need just kind of general business skills. You need a bit of money, stock, you need equipment, but not really any specialist equipment. And generally, these businesses have a fixed place. And of course, if you really want to be a great trader, then you find where the products are plenty, and you can buy from the areas where the products are plenty, and then you sell them where the products are scarce. And so that's one of the ways that you can make a lot of money. And the example that I used was mangoes are not grown in my part of the country. They're grown in the north east of the country. And so if I go there with a big truck and load up their product, their mangoes, bring it down here, I could make quite a lot of money because of the scarcity of mangoes in my area. So that's what we learned. Now, let's move on to service business and service opportunities. Okay, so a service business falls into two categories. Okay, the first category is what you can see and what happens that you can see with your eyes, where there is a visible change as a result of that service. And the other one is where you cannot see. So there's no external change to how the product looks, but it was not working, and after the service, it is working. So let's just take a couple of examples of that. So let me ask you, what would be the examples of a service business where you can physically see a change after the person has done the service? What would some examples of that be? What would some examples be of a service business where you can physically see a change? Okay, the guys in Kraaifontein say a car mechanic. Now, let me just ask you a question. Can you actually physically see a change, physically see with your eyes a change if somebody has worked on a car? Not necessarily, hey? But sneaker washing is definitely where the sneaker comes in. It looks dirty. When the person has washed it, it looks clean. Great. I support that one, Kraaifontein. A hairdressing salon, says Vincent. Absolutely. The person comes in looking one way and they leave another way, whether they've had weaves put in, whether the hair's been straightened, whether it has been changed in some way, cut, new style, whatever the case may be. Wendy says a laundry business. Absolutely. Dirty washing in, clean washing out. Robert says a car wash. Absolutely. Same thing. Dirty car in, clean car leaves. Kondwani says barber. Absolutely. You come in with big hair like this, you go with either no hair because they've chopped it all off, or you have this really amazing style that they've done. Absolutely. So thanks for participating in that, learners. Now, let's look at the ones where you can't see a difference. And this is why I asked Kraaifontein about car mechanic. So when a car comes in, they do stuff to that car, okay? But you can't physically see exactly what they've done. So, for instance, one of the things they do in a car when they service a car is that they actually change the oil, and they change the spark plugs, and they change the air filter and that type of thing. So you can't see new oil in your car. All you know is when I get into the car now, it was going a little bit like this. And when you get in and you drive, very nice, going very well. So that would be an example of something that you can't see. Okay, Kraaifontein says spray painting. Well, you can actually notice a difference with spray painting because the car or the item was red and now it's blue. So that would be a good example of a service business that you can see. Other service businesses where you cannot see is plumbing. You've got a blocked toilet or whatever the case may be. This guy comes in with all sorts of rods and all sorts of things, and he pushes his rods in. And all you know is by the time that he leaves, the everything flushes away. Another example of that is the electrical appliance repair. So you have a toaster or a kettle that doesn't work, or a TV that doesn't work. You take it in. You think it looks exactly the same when you come out, but it is changed. Lungelo says roof cleaning services. Now, would that roof cleaning services be what you could see or what you cannot see? So which one would that be? Roof cleaning services. Can you see the difference? Or is it something internal, like electricity, fixing an electrical problem in your house? You can't see what's done. The only thing is when you flick the switch, the light goes on, as opposed to when beforehand, when you flick the switch, nothing happened. So can you see roof cleaning? Yes, you can see the difference. Okay, so you can see that there's two distinct parts of a service business. So this first definition is not actually correct and needs to be changed. Okay, so I'm not even going to go into that. Now, where do opportunities lie? So opportunities lie in two areas where a customer has a problem that he or she cannot solve or fix for themselves, such as fixing plumbing, fixing electrical appliances, fixing a hole in the roof. A lot of us don't have those skills to do it. So there is an opportunity that exists there. Like, for instance, a dentist, he's going to fix your broken tooth. You can't do that yourself. Okay, so this is where, and by the way, you see this word here. You see this word here. I'm just trying to highlight it, but it's not wanting to. Oh, oops. Okay, not highlighting. Okay, where it says problem. Now, a lot of service businesses deal with problems. So let's look at some of them. Vincent's hairdressing salon, problem. Why? Because your hair is growing. Laundry business, problem. Dirty washing, clean washing. Car wash, problem. Car's dirty, needs to be cleaned. Barber, problem. Hair's growing, needs to be cut. Spray painting could fall into a want, or it could be an absolute need. Roof cleaning could for a want, or it could fall into problem. So generally speaking, a lot of service businesses fall into the category of problem solving. Okay, so that's where a problem cannot be solved by the person themselves. They need a specialist area to solve their problem. But it can also be where a customer has a need or a want, but they can take care of it themselves, but they choose not to. So, for instance, they don't have time, could be a reason. So, for instance, mending clothing. Mending clothing takes a bit of time to do. Looking after children takes time. Typing something takes time. Now, you may not have the time because you've got to use your time doing something else. So therefore, you employ the services of others, like, for instance, looking after the children. So you've got to concentrate on your business. Your children can't be in the business. So therefore, you employ somebody to take care of the children. So that's don't have time. The next one is don't want to. So, for instance, everybody can wash and iron clothing, clean a house, wash a car. Yeah, I mean, it's not that difficult. You don't need special skills to do that, but you may not want to do that. So you may have the money where you employ somebody to do that. And then you'd rather pay somebody else to do it. So all of you are going to be faced with the situation that you need to keep records of your businesses. And as you'll hear me say later on in the course, a business is only as good as the records it keeps. So every single one of you needs to be keeping records. That's why we are going to be starting this process by keeping records on the Geo platform. But the reason most people don't keep records is because it is a pain. It's a not pain as in sore arm or sore headache, but it is it's something that one doesn't want to do because it is just laborious. So admin, yes, Kryfontaine. So administration is boring. But it's hugely important. So a lot of companies pay somebody else to do it. Another example of that is cooking. Everybody needs to eat every day, but sometimes people say, you know what, I'm not good at cooking, or I don't like cooking, or whatever the case may be. So you employ somebody else to do it for you. So that's where opportunities lie. So for instance, my wife, she actually started a bookkeeping business many years ago because a lot of people didn't like to do books. So she provided that type of a service. And then, of course, the opportunity exists where competition is low for the service. Now, generally speaking, listen carefully, generally speaking, competition will be low in most of these businesses. Why? Because you may need specialist, you may need a specialist in the area. So some examples where that does not apply is the hairdressing salon, the nail bar, the car washing, because there are tons of those businesses in and around the areas that we stay. So that means where competition will be very high in those. And then, of course, an opportunity exists where there's enough people who are willing and able to pay the price for what you are charging for the service. So again, here, the 3 opportunity factors. All right, any questions on that so far? Right, let me now move on to this slide. Okay, so where do the opportunity, what are the inputs rather for a service business? All right, so generally speaking, for most service businesses, you need to have some level of skill. So here in my little picture is this guy is teaching this lady how to play a piano. Now he needs to know how to play a piano first, right? This guy down here is helping somebody to fix a computer. He's got to have the skills of knowing how to fix a computer. Dentist needs to have gone to dentistry school. Doctor needs to have gone to a school where he's learning how to become a doctor, university. Okay? So that's the first thing. Even a hairdressing salon or person working in a salon, they need to know what they're doing. And I'm sure that some of you have had a situation of going into a hairdressing salon. I hope none of you had this, by the way, where somebody doesn't know what they're doing and they mess up your hair. And so that'll make you very mad, very angry. And you generally seek out those hairdressing salons where their price is good, but they also know what they're doing. So even that needs skills. I guess ones that don't need that much skill are things like washing a car, although someone can argue, you know, there's washing a car, then there's washing a car. And so you need to have specialist knowledge. I mean, you know, people can use the wrong chemicals on washing a car, and it can ruin the surface of that car. So you need to know what it is that, and you know, a friend of mine actually runs a car wash, and he's got a specialist piece of equipment that brings all the shine back into those cars. And that is certainly a skill that he needs, and specialist equipment. Now, the second point is, in most service businesses, you need special tools and equipment. So look down here. You see this little slide over here? That is very specialist equipment that a dentist needs. Imagine you walk into a dentist's surgery and you're sitting in the chair and you happen to glance to the right, and on his table, and there is a hammer, a drill, a chisel, and some kind of mirror to see inside your mouth. You're going to get very scared very quickly. A lot of us are quite scared to go to the dentist in the first place. But if you see those things, you are so out of there really quickly, because nobody can work on your mouth with a hammer and chisel. Nobody can work on your mouth with a pair of pliers. You need these specialist equipments. You need that very fine specialist drill to be able to drill. And I'll stop here because a lot of you are probably going, ah, hate the dentist. Okay. A doctor needs specialist things. He needs stuff to listen to the heart. He needs maybe even pads to put on you to get readings from your heart and that. So he needs specialist equipment. And so this is why sometimes it's very difficult to get into a service business, because it is costly. You know, these tools cost a huge amount of money. You can't just use any old tools. And so that's why I've said the third point, it may be expensive. But you also need training, and training may come at a huge price. Like, just think of a doctor, 7 years at medical school. And then if he goes on to be a specialist, it's 8, 9, maybe even 10 years. And those are frightfully expensive to get. So that's why money is needed there to get the skills and to buy the tools. Okay. Then a lot of businesses, service businesses, need transport. So, you know, if you are a plumber, you know, you can't take your plumbing to the store where the plumbing shop is, because, you know, you've got a blocked drain and it's underground generally. And so therefore the person needs to be able to come to you. So some service businesses, you go to them, appliance repair, the hair care business, car washing, but other businesses, they come to you, electricity, plumbing, roof cleaning, could even be spray painting. So therefore, a lot of service businesses need transport. Definitely need business cards. Why? I'm going to, as you're thinking about it, I'm going to say they don't necessarily need to be to have a place where it is clearly evident where they are. So unlike a trading business place is absolutely key and critical for where the trading business is situated, because people need to see that business in order to go in and buy the product. But in a service business, you don't necessarily need to have a place that is highly visible, but you do need business cards. Why? Why do most service businesses need business cards? Maybe not a hairdressing, maybe not a car wash. So Mayimba, why? Business cards sort of represent your business, so it's easy and visible. Yes. Kraaifontein, for your contact details. Yes. Both of you, you know, if you had to write that in an exam, I'd give you probably 60%. So where would the other 40% be? If I was to give you the question in an exam. Sort of represent your business, says Wendy, and for contact details, says Kraaifontein. Somebody at Kraaifontein. The main reason is not everybody needs that business every day. I'll say that again. Not everybody needs that business every day. But when you need it, you need to be able to know where to, the customer needs to be able to know where to find it. So, so that's why you need to have a business card. Now, there are two types of business cards you can produce, okay? So the first business card is one that's actually written on a piece of paper, you know, that little business card written on a piece of paper, you give it to a person. The other one, which you could consider doing, is putting a magnet on that business card. Why? Because people, you know, if it's of value, they put it on the fridge. Everybody has a refrigerator, or most people have a refrigerator. and you could stick things onto the external of the refrigerator, and that's where you use the magnet. But then your business, the service business, is right there in front of people. So if they need the plumber, oh, it's on the fridge. Yeah, I'll just go and have a look. And so that's why add some value to your business card by putting a magnet behind it. Look, it is going to cost you a lot more money, but again, your business is in the face, and that's what you're wanting to get. So those in Masoy, I see you've raised your hand. Those with connecting on Lorato's computer. So please unmute and ask your question or make a comment. Masoy? Unmute. Those with Lorato, you put up your hands, and so unmute and ask your question or make a comment. Or maybe they're having some problem there. So I'll just read out what Kryfontaine writes. For clients to get more details on the business for future reference, or when they need your services, e.g. a plumber. Exactly. Go once more to Masoy, to those connecting with Lorato's computer. You had your hand up. Okay, they put their hand down. Okay. All right. Business cards is a must. Storage facility, perhaps. You may need to store some stuff. Adequate advertising, absolutely key. People have got to know where to find you, and you've got to have some way for those to contact you. So you've got to have something like a cell phone or something like that. Okay, so my dear people, this is why service businesses are slightly more difficult to run than a trading business. Trading business, you need hardly any skills. You don't need specialist tools and equipment. You need some money. You don't need business cards, really. You do need a storage facility. You don't have to really advertise that much. And a cell phone would be a nice thing to have. But for a service business, these things are essential. Okay, we've come to the end of our lecture on a service business. So before I wrap the lecture up, are there any questions or comments that anybody'd like to make? So before summing up, I'm just going to say the following. There are more opportunities in service businesses than there are in trading businesses, except for the hairdressing salon, probably the nail bar, and car washing. So those are the three most common service businesses, but other types of service businesses are more rare. So basically, you've got more opportunity in terms of a service business. And of course, they deal more with problems. Okay, so you've got a lot of retail businesses, a lot of trading businesses, not that many service businesses. And you'll see when we get there, even fewer manufacturing businesses. So a service business exists. Just trying to get this mouse to cooperate here. A service business exists when you are fixing a problem that people can't do themselves, or there's a need or want that people can do, but they decide to use others, where competition is low and where there's enough people that are willing and able to pay. And then, yeah, you need special skills, tools and equipment, money, transport, business cards, adequate advertising, telephone, storage. And so that's why they are slightly more difficult to run than a trading business.